I want to transition to the All-Star reserves, because I'll say this: if you want to continue to add some more sunshine or optimism, whatever, to this topic, whenever I know a player is hurt and out for a while, I've done this back to when the days where Mike Connolly was like always nipping at the heels of being an All-Star selection. I just always weirdly root for the player who's hurt to get in the All-Star game, so that way multiple guys get the love.
No, I totally get this.
And now, and I hope Julius Randle has a speedy recovery. I hope Joel Embiid has a speedy recovery. We're going to get 2 more guys in the East who are going to get All-Star nods. So, Dan, before we do that, we'll run off who the people were anointed as by coaches. I was going to say people voted, but that's not what happened.
I really hope that coaches were not going around anointing with oils. Wasn't that a Mark Jackson story? Wasn't that one of the Mark Jackson stories? It was like he tried to heal Steph Curry's ankles by anointing it with oils. I feel like I remember this.
Holy water, I think it was.
Yes, maybe it wasn't oils. In any event,
but it is funny. Like I do know,
try to keep the anointing to a minimum.
Yeah, I do know some coaching staffs like get together around a table, crack a beer, and have fun figuring it out. I don't know how everyone does it, but that's neither here nor there. The East, Jaylen Brown, Donovan Mitchell, Jalen Brunson. Really emotional moment with Alan Hahn. If you haven't seen that video, very, very cool, being that Brunson is always, it seems, focused on keeping tough, non-emotionless, like almost Jalen Hurts like exterior, if that.
Maybe it's analogy, a Jalen thing.
Maybe it's a Jalen thing, but to show a little emotion after a cool comeback win on a very big night against the Pacers, I would say, while they both he got nominated, Tyrese Halliburton got picked in theory like above him. Just a cool moment for him to be showing that human element. Bam Adebayo, Julius Randle, Tyrese Maxey, Paolo Banchero. In the West, Devin Booker, Steph Curry, Anthony Davis, Anthony Edwards, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, and Karl Anthony Towns, which I will tell you surprised a lot of people around the league. Yeah. Even people in Minnesota who thought that, people in Minnesota I had spoken to dating back to like the showcase in December 15th was like, man, you think we could get 3? Because like we think Ant and Rudy are going to be locks. Like we hope Cat can get in there. I think it would just not like Cat's not deserving of it. I just think people expected if the Wolves were going to get a second guy, it was going to be Rudy. So I'll start by saying, Dan, any surprises, any snubs? I know Ben Rohrback wrote a great article breaking that all down at Yahoo Sports. Go check that out. I have some thoughts on the East 2 replacement stuff, but I'm just going to tip it over to you.
Yeah, I think you're right. The only name that sort of caught my eye was Cat, and which is not any slight. I don't intend that as a slight to him. You look at the numbers and you're like, oh, right. He's averaging like 22, 9 and 3 assists on 52, 44, 87 shooting while playing his ass off for the number one team in. Yeah, like and having like making the difficult adjustment to play in the 4 more often next to Rudy, like the thing that was such a challenge for them all last year. He's really bought into it and really is working his tail off to do it. And has been on outside of the 62-point game, which we remember now is more like a meme for the loss and Chris Finch afterward. But he's like 26 a game on 670 true shooting in January. He's been awesome. But yeah, I think the point of Rudy is like the biggest reason why Minnesota's good, that defense. And so I think everyone expected that. But Rudy Gobert not making an All-Star game is not, I don't know that we're going to be missing him going, Globetrotters. I think it's going to be all right. I mean, the snub to me for the West, and I know Mike Brown has already called it, I think, like a glaring mistake, or that neither one of the Sacramento Kings guys got on there. I had De'Aaron Fox when I did my the All-Star ballot, and then I picked the reserves on my fake team. I had De'Aaron Fox because the on-off splits for when he's on the court without Sabonis and when Sabonis is on the court without him, the Kings get outscored when Sabonis is on the court running things, and Fox, they were like a big plus, big positive numbers when Fox is on the court. So it was like his scoring, his playmaking, his 3-point shooting, improved defense, and he seems like he's driving their winning more. But Sabonis is like 8th in assists. He's leading the league in rebounding. He's 8th in assists. He's shooting 62% from the floor, and he has 13 triple doubles, and he didn't get on the team. Like
maybe the Kings should win the in-season tournament, and then you can get 2 guys in there.
Yeah. I mean, to me, this is the closest that I've ever gotten to stumping for like advance the roster, improve the roster sizes to 15, add more slots. But that's also, I get why
You know what will happen, right? If they do that, then all the old guys will be like, "Oh, that's a fake all-star because back in my day there was only 12." Like I could just see.
I mean, they already do that. It's like, well, that guy was an injury replacement in a Down East, fake all-star, you know?
Yeah.
So I mean, that stuff happens, and I get it. I mean, in any event, the Kings guys were the ones that I was like, that's going to generate the most heat in all likelihood. Ben, I got again. You want to point people to Ben's article. Did a really nice job of illustrating his argument for Jamal Murray being the biggest snub. I thought that was he framed it really nicely. So I recommend people go check that out. But talk to me about the East, where you think the injury replacements are going. What do you think the conversation is going to focus on there?
I don't know where they're going. I mean, we'll see what the conversation. I mean, it doesn't matter what the people think because Adam Silver can just wave his wand and put anybody in there.
I do think there's a little wand.
Oh yeah, he's a witch.
Or like a scepter.
I don't know if you knew that. Yeah, he brews potions up at Olympic Tower and then disseminates it across Manhattan like an evil mob villain.
NC Armada, do me a solid. Let's mock up some art for Adam Silver with a wand or a scepter or like, I don't know, like the kind of staff that Loki has in the Avengers. Like I want to see what kind of like what he's working with there. Give me some pitches. I want to see some blue sky solutioneering. I need 5 by 5 p.m. tonight. So let's hear it.
There you go. Deadline set, submissions, all are welcome. I would like Derek White to be in there. I like Derek White.
You just want to plug the story you wrote.
No, I just, even like, what was the game? It was the Pelicans game the other night. Like he had a terrible game and then he ends up hitting like 9, 3 threes in the clutch and rebound.
Yeah, put them away in the fourth.
Just think Derek White is always there for you. Just like, what can Brown do for you? What can White do for you? He will do it. He will do it at all times.
Don't anybody clip out the phrase, what can White do for you? Derek White would be the third Celtic, and that's the Celtics are head and shoulders above everybody else. They're like, I think, a 4-game lead in the East or 4.5-game lead in the East right now. You could understand that. That's a super defensible pick. And, I joke about you wanting to just plug your piece, but you wrote a really nice story. You talked to Derek White about how the advanced stats love him and what that's capturing. I talked to Derek White's dad, who then has subsequently followed us on Twitter, which is very nice of him. And there was there's certainly a great argument for it. He unlocks the best version of the best team in the NBA. I think that's a justifiable pick. To me, if you're moving in that direction, I wonder if my last pick on the wild cards was Scotty Barnes. Maybe if you're at the point where we're moving past just we're going to reward the winners and we're going to get to individual cases. Trae Young certainly is a name that goes there. And Ben wrote at some length about the case for Trae Young. Jimmy Butler, just he's a reputation play and he's been playing much better of late. But the meme with Jimmy is always he doesn't really start playing until the All-Star break, and then he's an All-NBA player. So I don't know. There are some worthy considerations, but yeah, I think the East was a little bit easier. The West, there were more guys, and I said somebody responded to my ballot and was like, maybe the injury replacements should just come from the West. So yeah, maybe that's your answer. Sabonis and Fox both get in, and the injury replacement spots in the East, and we just sort of swap everybody over. I mean, Sabonis already played in Indiana. He's probably got a home color jersey anyway. So done and dusted. Let's do that.